Hey everybody, what's up? It's Chris Young. Welcome back to Summer Solstice. Have you ever wondered what it's like to dry dock? What it's like to boondock, if you will? We're going to give you a chance to learn from the pros and even ask those pros questions yourself. Yep, you'll see a little link down there to send in a question, do the chat. We're going to be answering them live here in just a couple of minutes. Be sure to register too, because not only am I giving away some great items right after this session, we're going to give you a chance to win up to $50,000 in giveaways and RV essentials just today. So hang around, grab that cup of coffee, grab that lunch, whatever you want. Just enjoy Summer Solstice, because how to dry dock and where to boondock is coming up next.
Camping is the best summer activity. But what type of camping is the best fit for your lifestyle? Do you prefer to get off the grid deep in nature? Or do you prefer some popular amenities within walking distance of your campsite? Get your questions answered by the RV pros. Dan and Lindsay have traveled to 40 states, stayed at 25 national parks, and dozens of campgrounds along the way. Rachael and Nathan have traveled to all 48 contiguous states with their 2 dogs, visiting Good Sam campgrounds and boondocking on their cross-country adventures. You're watching Camping World Summer Solstice. This is Where to Stay, Campgrounds and Boondocking.
Welcome back to the Summer Solstice. We are live because, you know, it is the year of RV travel, and we've had a lot of people ask about what's the difference between dry docking, boondocking, and what are some great campgrounds to go visit. So we thought we'd let you learn from the experts themselves. Joining me today is a very special panel of speakers, and I'm going to give them each a chance to introduce themselves. But let me show you over here to follow your detour. I got Dan and Lindsay.
Hey, yeah, we're Dan and Lindsay McKenzie. We're from Colorado, and we traveled full-time in our RV for 2.5 years, and we currently have a Winnebago Navion.
Yep, and we're actually transitioning to a part-time lifestyle, so really want to keep the RV a part of our life, but settle down a little bit and you know, have that best of both worlds type of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, once you get bit by the bug, you can't
Can't
not
stop.
give it up. Yeah. And then over here to my right, I am very happy to be joined by 2 traveling dogs, my friends Nate and Rachael. Guys, good morning.
Good morning. We're Rachael and Nate Johnson, and we travel with our dogs, Peanut Butter Brickle and Digby Pancake. We are full-time RVers. We've been full-time for 4 years, traveling across the country numerous times, and we promote animal rescue along the way.
Yeah, we have a Class A diesel pusher. We call it the Big Blue Treat Wagon, and basically my role in all of this is I do the dishes and the laundry.
You don't do the dishes.
I was going to say, wait a minute, I know that's a lot. Come on.
I did them that one time.
Okay, so that counts. You got to remember, Rachel's guys, that counts.
Yeah,
So
okay.
first things up, since I got you right here, what is boondocking?
Boondocking is basically camping in your RV without any hookups. You're not going to have water. You're not going to have electric. You're not going to have a connection to your holding tanks.
Right.
But for us, it's more than that. It's really real life, you know? Okay, maybe that's a little bit
Right,
of an
yeah.
exaggeration. You know, not everybody, though, on their day-to-day is going to be able to have the experiences that you can have boondocking. Out on your own, no hookups. It's kind of like adventure for the unadventurous, you know?
Right.
You're not going to endanger yourself in any way, but you're really going to experience things that you just normally can't experience. By minimizing what you use, you're maximizing your memories. You're able to go out in some of these remote locations, see things that no one else gets to see. But that's the thing. It is available for everybody, no matter who you are, no matter how much money you have, no matter what type of RV you have, you can get out into these spots, no hookups, enjoying real life.
That's camping to a T. Now, Dan and Lindsay, I know you guys have done some boondocking too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So when you think boondocking, where are some good spots to go do that? Where's like your favorite spot?
That's so hard because there's so many. We tend to love to be outside in national parks. I think camping inside can get really crowded.
Yep.
So we found a few, like right off the top of my head was Grand Tetons.
Yeah.
There's
Oh.
an excellent spot right outside the park.
Yeah, got the mountains in the view, and you're just out there, and it's awesome. We also really like a spot in Salida, which is in Colorado, our hometown. It's near the Arkansas River, so a few minutes down the road and you're fly fishing, and lots of great hunting and hiking. It's awesome.
So what kind of qualifies as a good boondocking spot? And actually, I want to remind everybody too, we're taking your questions live, and we've got some giveaways coming up at the end of this session too. So if you haven't had a chance, please submit your question now and register to win those giveaways. We're giving away up to $50,000 worth of good stuff just today. So what would kind of qualify as a good boondocking spot?
So in my opinion, I think it really depends on who you are.
Right.
I mean, for us, what qualifies is that it's free.
Okay.
Which a lot of them are. So, but I think it's worth pointing out that not all boondocking spots are free. There's a lot of different types of boondocking. We talk about BLM land, which is often free, and you can stay there for 14 days. But there's also wonderful campgrounds and boondocking spots in the national forest, or just a variety of other spots. Also, I mean, some might call it boondocking when you sleep over at a Walmart. So
right.
There's a lot of different flavors of it. But for us, we really look for one that's out there on the BLM land if possible, because we can stay for free often. And we're all about proximity. We want to be close to something. So we're not one of those people that just is going to be way out off the grid.
Right.
We need to be 30 minutes from something. So that's what qualifies for us, I'd say.
Well, and just close to what you like to do. If you like to bike, if you like to fish, I mean, that's the beauty of boondocking, is I think you just have so much more options there. But you can also be kind of close to town and amenities as well. So.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of, I got to introduce, or actually, why don't you guys introduce my hosts that we have here, because I want to talk about pets for a little bit.
Yeah.
Reintroduce these fellows for me.
This is Digby Pancake. He is 11 years old, and he is a rescue foxhound. And this one back here
With his back to us, because he's just not having
yes,
it.
he's like, I'm not interested. Peanut Butter Brickle, and he's also 11, and he is a Catahoula mix.
Beautiful. So when talking about pets, this was a really great question that just came in. Do all campgrounds allow pets?
They don't. You really have to do your research. If you want to stay in a private campground, a lot of times they have breed restrictions, they have weight restrictions. So you want to make sure before you make your reservations that your dogs are welcome there, because there's nothing worse.
Oh. He's like, I want to be welcome here. Bring it back in.
That was me. I apologize, Diggy. I'm so sorry, Diggy.
How dare you step on it?
I know.
There's nothing worse, other than hurting your dog, than going into a campground and setting up and being told that you have to leave. So you want to make sure that they're welcome there. A lot of national parks are great with dogs. As far as camping goes, a lot of times they're allowed in the campgrounds itself, but not maybe on certain trails in the national park. So the campgrounds are always a good place to walk your dogs too, if you have to do that. But yeah, BLM land is great because there's usually no restrictions that we've heard of as far as pet goes. You want to be respectful, and even though you're boondocking, you want to make sure that you keep them on a leash because of the wildlife.
Right.
And be respectful of others.
Sure.
As far as with dogs, but
When
they
you say
love
BLM land, what does that mean?
It's Bureau of Land Management, and especially you find these type of places out west.
Okay.
That's where you're going to get your best boondocking. At least it's been our experience as well, it sounds like, with Dan and Lindsay. And it's like, it's an incredible thing, because typically these lands are close to, as they pointed out, places you want to be.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, things you want to see.
Things you want to see, and that the dogs want to see as
Right.
well, For us, it's like, we want them to be happy. And
Right.
I don't think sometimes people realize that pets can experience things just like you are. These new things that they're seeing, I mean, it just makes them so excited. And so for us, BLM land, Bureau of Land Management, close to the national parks, close to national forests and those type of things,
Right.
it's the best.
So this question just came in for you guys. A lot of times if you're boondocking, you won't really have good shelter. What do you do for your dog if there's inclement weather or bad rain out?
I hate it. When you're in a house, a regular house, you have a lot more space usually for your dog.
Sure.
So on the times, we watch the weather a lot. We have 3 different apps that we watch. So we try to go where we know the weather isn't going to be bad, but sometimes you can't help it.
Right.
So I have learned along the way to keep a rainy day bag by the door. I mean, you're living in your RV or your weekend travel, you don't want dirt all inside your
Right,
RV.
right.
So I keep a bag by the door. so I can clean them off and that. But we have chew toys that they can chew on during the
Right.
day. I make sure to try to keep up with their routine. So whether that's their meal times, even if it's raining outside, just keeping up with the routine actually gets their mind going, so they're a
gets
little
them
bit
off
more
of
relaxed.
what might be going
Yeah,
on outside.
Exactly.
I got you.
So the
Okay.
dogs come in and I get kicked out. That's basically how this works.
Right. I understand. Well, I mean, you got to, we understand who really runs the camper hole there. So.
Well, as my dog now has moved on to Dan and Lindsay, and it feels like that's a better owner for him, a better friend.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you did step on.
I mean, you know, it's kind
you.
of self-served injury right there.
Or take B.
So, guys, I had a great question just come in. When you're out traveling, if you're boondocking, what do you do about mail, and how do you get it?
You have a couple different options. We started off having a family member. We forwarded our mail to his mom, and then we kind of felt bad about that. Like, that can be kind of annoying. So we found Escapee's mail service, and so they would hold all of our mail and then just ship it to us when we requested it.
Is that a national thing, or is that a local thing?
A national thing,
Okay.
yeah. And
Escapee's mail service?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And they
there's other
also,
services.
so you can get a mail service and not necessarily change your residency, but a lot of full-time RVers will actually change their residency, and Escapees can help you with that too. So you can actually set up your domicile in a few different states that they have. I think Texas and Florida, maybe Idaho or South Dakota, I think it is actually. So you can have just the mail service to get your mail, and then you can get it shipped to you. And oftentimes campgrounds will let you ship mail, especially if you ask them. Just go in there and say, hey, is it okay if we get a package?
Sure.
Also, you know, some post offices will actually let you mail something to a post office, and they'll hold it for you for a couple of days. So you can kind of plan ahead and get your mail.
So my idea of having the bill switched to the neighbor's residence, that
I mean, it's worth a shot. You know?
Right, right.
I mean, what do you care? You're in an RV, you know?
yeah, there you go. So, hey guys, everyone out there has been sending us some great questions. Please, I encourage you, put as many questions into the feed as possible. We'll get to as many as we can. And don't forget, register for a chance to win those gift cards. We have a lot of stuff coming up. As a matter of fact, at the end of this session, I'm going to give away a year's Good Sam membership and a free 2-night stay at any Good Sam campground, maybe even a few of them. So if you want to win that, register. We're going to be giving that away.
Do we qualify for that? No, right?
No.
I was.
So are you able to pick your camp? That's a great question. Are you able to pick your campground spot, or are spots just assigned to you?
You know, it just depends. You have to check with the campground. Most public campgrounds, you can pick them. There are some that are going to pick them for you when you get there. A lot of private campgrounds, just the opposite. They're going to kind of pick them for you.
Right.
You know, but you can specify, hey, you know, I'd like, for us with the dogs, we like shade. So they have a place to kind of lounge around. And so we can specify, hey, we would like a site with shade if you have it.
Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't.
Right, yeah.
But you can always ask.
Actually, most of the time you don't.
Right.
But yeah,
So
you
true.
want to specify any type of things that you need, and they'll try to accommodate you. I think the key is when you're checking in, be kind to them. You know, if they don't have really what you want,
Right.
look, you know, I mean, these things happen.
Go with the flow.
Go
Yeah.
with the flow. That's part of it. And if you don't like it, you can always go boondocking on BLM land.
Well, you know, that's the thing that I've found with a lot of RVers, especially people who've been doing it for a long time, who've done boondocking for a long time. When those situations just pop up,
Yeah.
you guys seem to be able to handle the, oh, well, it happened, situations a whole lot easier than a lot of people.
Because we remember the times we've broken down, or
Right,
we
right.
remember the really bad times, and we're like, okay, well, this isn't so bad.
Oh, right,
You know,
right,
just just go with the flow. You know, we live in our house. It's on
Right.
wheels. So, you know, we can park where we need to.
Right. So when you guys talk about reserving your campgrounds, what's the process? How far out do we need to book?
It's a tough one because you want to have that balance between being spontaneous and being able to just kind of go with what feels right. And sometimes you get somewhere and it's not as great as you thought it was going to be and you want to go. Or sometimes you get somewhere that's really surprising. You love it. You want to stay longer. But RVing is becoming more and more popular.
Yes.
And so when we hit the road 2.5 years ago, we really didn't make reservations, hardly at all. And now it's totally different. Sometimes, especially the really popular national parks, state parks,
Yeah, I mean,
you have to
honestly,
get in
I
a
would
year
say
in
like,
advance. Yeah.
Wow.
you know, especially if you're, you know, maybe you're basing your, you know, one weekend trip, or maybe you're going to go camping for a week and you're not choosing to live in it full time. I think I think that changes how you approach your reservations, and I would encourage you, if you are planning a trip, to go ahead and make a reservation in advance. There's really no reason not to. And I think it's worth noting, especially for some of these really popular places, you know, Yosemite, Yellowstone, these campgrounds can book up almost a year in advance. So,
yeah.
Really?
so you really
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
think about that. I mean, Yosemite is still somewhere we're trying to go, but we haven't thought a year in advance yet. So some places, you know, if there's an event in town, that's
Right.
something, you know, a NASCAR race you want to go to or something like that, I mean, you just got to be, you got to think ahead. But generally speaking, you know, a couple of weeks maybe you can probably get into a campground, I would say, if
Right.
not the same day in most cases.
But
you
I
know.
will say, don't let that scare you. Like, you can usually find somewhere
Yeah.
to park, and
Sure.
it might be Walmart, it might not be your first choice, but I promise the experiences and the memories that you make are gonna make it all worth it.
Right,
So.
right. Yeah, the first time I ever stayed at a NASCAR race was Daytona. We took a Class A down there, and I mean, granted, we had hookups, but I saw so many people just dry docking,
Yeah.
and it's like, you know, that's got to be an experience too. And everybody I
It
talked to said the
is.
same thing.
Yeah.
You've never done it, you got to do it. Go to a
Yeah.
NASCAR race, stay in the pits, and dry dock.
Yeah.
So it just seems
Sure.
it was amazing for us.
We have a great site booked in the year 2030
Oh.
at Yosemite. So you guys can join us.
Yeah.
You know,
it
it's only
just-
10 years.
I can't believe that some of those you got to book that far
Have a
out.
plan B.
Yeah.
That's what
Okay.
I always say. So when we went to Capitol Reef National Park in Utah,
Yeah.
it was first come first serve, and we thought, well, we're probably not going to get a site, but we're going to try. And by the time we got there, of course, we didn't get a site, but we had a plan B. So we knew that there was dispersed camping,
Right.
boondocking outside of the park. It actually ended up being 1,000% better for us. Our views were amazing. I mean, that was probably one of my favorite spots there. But we had that plan B. So we knew kind of where the coordinates were. It was tricky with a rig our size because we have a
Right.
37-foot, but we unhooked the car, and one of us went and checked it out and said, okay, will we get stuck back here or not? So that's
Right.
always a good thing to do. Just take a drive back there first before you bring
Yeah.
everything in. Just
Because
to
a lot
check.
of parks, a lot of places won't allow campers that are over a certain size.
Exactly, exactly. So that's a good plan B.
Yeah, so always check it out and have
Yeah.
a plan
That's the
B.
first time you ever used the word rig.
I know. It just came out.
Did you see my face? I was like,
Yeah. I don't know.
yeah, I'm wearing off on you, Rachel. That's what it is. Everything's a rig. Well, you know, being from the South, what do we do? Now, this is a great question. I've had this come up a few times. Are there any discounts for campgrounds? Now, obviously, with the Good Sam membership, absolutely yes. But are there other discounts you guys run into?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, sometimes even the state parks have discount systems where you sign up, and the more nights you stay, you accumulate points.
Right.
And sometimes you even get like a free night's stay doing that. With boondocking, it's more of a situation where, well, as Dan said, you look for the free sites.
Right.
I mean,
right.
there's a lot of those, but when you're staying at a park where you're not going to have hookups, you're automatically going to have a discount because it's
Right.
going to be cheaper than if you had hookups. They don't have that expense. But there's all types of networks and things that you can
Right.
join that give you discounts on all types of.
That's not included in that, right?
No,
Was that a
it's not.
ruse?
It's not. Actually, you get nothing for that, but
There
I
we go.
conned you. I
Yeah,
conned you.
as soon as you
I
get
conned you.
you got a free cleaner.
I did.
So I have to chime in on that because when you asked us what one of our favorite boondocking spots was, one of the things that popped in my mind was Harvest Hosts.
Oh, yeah.
And if you've never heard of Harvest Host and you want to try boondocking, it's actually kind of a nice way to get ease into it because Harvest Host is just a network of farms, museums,
Wineries,
breweries that allow
yes,
parking, and sometimes they even have hookups.
Yes.
Sometimes it's just a parking lot, but sometimes you also get a really cool experience,
Yeah.
like you've got farm animals, or you can go do you picket apples and fruits. Of course, wineries and breweries, there's the
Yeah.
obvious
Last
Last
benefit
night
there.
during the kickoff, last night during the kickoff, Ethan and Alyssa were staying at one of those
Yeah.
at a winery.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
man,
it's
I'm
a really
jealous.
cool experience,
Yeah.
and
It's
it's
really
it's one of
cool.
those ways that you can save money because you pay the membership to be a part of it, and then you know I think you're allowed to stay for a night, sometimes two, depending on how nice you are to the people. If
Sure.
you're really nice, maybe three. But
Right.
but really, I think you're supposed to stay about a night at one of these places and support the local business. So it's just a really cool
Win-win.
experience way to
Right.
camp. And there are other memberships. One that comes to mind, like just to mention it for someone that might be getting into this and looking, you can actually buy like memberships at campgrounds networks that will let you stay there for free. So Thousand Trails comes to my mind, and they have a membership program, different tiers, and depending on what's the right tier for you, you can actually stay in these parks for 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a time for free once you've paid the membership. So it can be a little bit expensive or pricey up front, but it can be really worth it if
Right.
that's what you're interested in.
So there's a lot of options out there.
so many
There are.
options.
And
yeah.
Hip Camp. Hip Camp is another good website because it has places that people actually, you can come park at someone's house.
Sure.
Or if they have a farm, and it's pretty reduced rates. So you can kind of get an experience of living locally
Right.
somewhere where maybe you're thinking of or you're thinking about visiting. So
Sure.
that's a great site too.
And
Now-
Boondockers welcome. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's
this
great. Yeah, it's great to know there's so many resources
Yes,
out there.
there really
Give me
are.
a favorite boondocking story.
I think Great Basin National Park, it was one of, I think it was my favorite campsite because we had no electricity, we had no water, we didn't have anything. But when you looked out and you saw the snow-capped mountains and you had a stream right behind your campsite, I mean, we didn't have any cell service. It took us an hour to get cell service, but the dogs loved it. I mean, to me, if the dogs love it, I love it, and they loved it.
That sounds like heaven alone, just
Yeah.
not being able to get a hold of for a little
Yeah,
while.
yeah. And I always tell them if it's somewhere they're like, okay, this is our yard for
Right.
a couple days. And it was like, we had a routine. We got up, we had breakfast. I took him out by the river. We sat there. It was just the fresh air, the bristlecone pines in Great Basin. I mean, it was just beautiful. The stars at night. So that alone to me with boondocking in a great location is that sometimes you don't have the lights of the city to alter the view. You're truly in nature.
Right.
I mean, I don't think that you can beat the experience of that and just being 100% relaxed. And actually, it builds your confidence. Before this, I would have had no idea that I could go without so many things.
Right.
But I had no idea what I would gain too.
Right.
Mine has to be laundry in a bucket. When you're boondocking,
That's reality.
You got to make the most out of something.
Absolutely.
Mine was laundry in a bucket. I was supposed to do laundry early on in the day, but I had a whole lot of nothing to do, so
Right.
that kind of took away the laundry. But on BLM land, we mentioned Capitol Reef.
Yeah.
We were outside of there. She made me go do the laundry outside when it was already dark.
Right.
But you get out there.
I made you
and
do
it's- You did. But it was like your senses are heightened in those
Right.
type of experiences. So even though you're doing something that you would do every day,
Right.
I mean, I guess everybody does laundry in a bucket every day. I'm not for sure.
I
about that.
mean, at least once a week.
once a week.
Yeah.
But even
Do
though
what you
you're
got to do.
even though you're out there, you begin to notice things while you're doing your laundry. I noticed the birds settling down in the bushes for the night, the wind, coming through the trees,
Right.
and as she said, the stars. you
Yeah.
know. It's like it was almost like a painting. If I had to name it, I would call it The Stars, a Man, and His Bucket.
And his bucket. That's a book title. All right. Real quick.
Okay,
Best
we'll go
boondocking
quick.
story.
The
What you got?
one that popped in my mind was Bolivar Beach in Texas. So we're from Colorado, so mountains, we get a lot of, but we parked right on the beach, steps away from the ocean in Texas, and that was awesome.
Are we sharing the good ones or the bad ones?
I mean, if you got a bad one, I love the bad
Memorable,
one too.
yeah.
A
Either
very
or.
memorable one. We were just outside Badlands National Park in South Dakota. We got stuck in probably the scariest thunderstorm I've ever been in. We happened to park our RV right on the side of a cliff. I was certain we were going over. Like the wind was blowing like 75, 80 miles an hour. We survived, but I was pretty nervous. And then I come to find out that actually like a couple
2
weeks
weeks
later, an RV did get blown off that cliff.
Oh.
So that was
that-
pretty memorable.
That could have been you on the
not
police
the best.
blotter. Yeah, that's
So be careful, and make sure that you kind of
Make
check the
safe
weather and you make
Right.
safe choices. That wasn't a great choice.
No.
It
right.
was a bad experience because it was bad land.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
boom.
But the,
Now we know
Denise
why.
Lopper.
but the next day was awesome. The next day was amazing. Like when the weather cleared, it was so beautiful. So there was a redemption quality, but
That's beautiful.
wouldn't have been so redeeming if we were off the cliff. Though, so.
So as you've seen, there are numerous not only memories and adventures you can have in finding campgrounds and boondocking, but great people that you can meet along the way, and memories that are going to just last an absolute lifetime. Hopefully you have enjoyed today's session on campgrounds and boondocking here at Summer Solstice. Dan, Lindsay, follow your detour. Guys, thank you so much for
Thanks for
joining
having
us.
us.
Nate, Rachel, two traveling dogs, thank you guys so much for joining us. We have a whole lot more coming up, and be sure to register because up to $50,000 in giveaways taking place today. And coming up later this afternoon, a session you absolutely do not want to miss, a live with our CEO, Marcus Lemonis. Summer Solstice will continue in just a few minutes.
On the road or at the campground, full-time or just for the weekend getaways, they're part of the family, which means no one gets left behind. At Camping World, RV travel means taking all of your best friends on new adventures, new explorations, without the hassle or the expenses. We believe it's the best America has to offer, and it's meant to be shared. Visit your local Camping World to find your home away from home today.
Thank you so much for joining us for the campgrounds and dry docking session here at the Summer Solstice with Camping World and Gander RV and Outdoors. Now, I've told you I'm going to be giving all types of things away. What do you say right now we pull some live winners? So for this session right here, I'm going to give away a 1-year Good Sam Club membership and 2-night stay at any Good Sam campground. My first winner is going to be Danny Tatro. Danny, congratulations. Thank you so much for your question. Enjoy your 1-year Good Sam Club membership and your free 2-night stay. Next winner is going to be Sandy Behrman. Sandy, thank you so much for your question as well. All these questions have been great. Third and final winner for this session, Pamela McKee. Pamela, congratulations. All of you guys just won a 1-year Good Sam Club membership and a 2-night stay at any Good Sam campground, wherever you want to go. We're live at the Summer Solstice